I'm Panda Hershey with Your Full Expression. Welcome to the March 29th Coffee and Charts bonus call, where we did things just a little bit differently today. We talked about what it means to take things to the next level in your life in some way this year. There is some system or structure that has reached its limit and it needs to go. Or, as one of my coaches says to me, what got you here won't get you there. And this is how we are experiencing the movement of Pluto into the sign of Aquarius. I walk through all of this on the call and break it down and also give some examples from 5 different people of how Pluto is impacting their lives. And I challenge everyone to live as their future selves for just 3 months. So, are you up for that? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks so much for being here on one of our off days. 3 weeks felt like such a long time to be away from you guys, and it just feels like we're going through something that feels so intense, and each one of us has our own specific situation that just feels absolutely crazy isn't the right word, but like a lot. And it can feel as though no one else quite gets it. Like maybe other people have been through something similar, but boy, the way it's all coming together in your life is just different from what everyone else is going through. And boy, is it intense. And so I felt as though so much of what is going on is this movement of Pluto from Capricorn into Aquarius. And so I offered this up as an option last time, and now I'm going to share my screen of, okay, we could talk about a couple things because there were so many questions that I kind of walked through in the retrograde portal guide that I couldn't cover them all, but there were so many portals being touched. And the other option was to talk about how Pluto is taking things to the next level for all of us and trying to look at how it's affecting specific people or certain people. And by doing that, maybe you can learn something that helps you in your life. And the overwhelming response was to take option 2. And so I had a few volunteers who said, ooh, that's a great idea. And when I asked them, ooh, could I, use your chart as an example? Everyone kindly said yes. And I'm just so appreciative of this group. So here we are. And so we'll be exploring that. And so I'm just calling this leveling up. In some area of your life, you're having to step out of your comfort zone with Pluto. And this is what we'll talk about. I'm going to be using the retrograde portal guide because that's been the framework I've used in this group for coffee and charts. And if you've got one, you can follow along. And if you don't, I've just got some examples and that'll work just fine. We'll talk a little bit about what the energy of Pluto is, and then what it is for Capricorn and Aquarius. And we'll walk through some examples, and I'm hoping there will be some time afterwards for some questions. So, and I'll stay on for as long as you guys want. So Pluto itself, its orbit is way out there. And not only that, it's tilted. So it's not like being stretched out, like all the other planets are fairly close, like on a flat plane, but Pluto is tilted. So I feel like it stretches us, and it stretches us out as far as we can go. And it requires giving it everything we've got because of that tilt. And I'm not going to get into any physics, but if you just think of that as the energy, that it is the ability to pull all of your tools, wisdom, experience, everything that you've accumulated up to this point together to make something happen, to affect something, and just simply, give it everything you got. And that's what we're always being asked to do. And sometimes it's more comfortable than others. And Capricorn, it's been in Capricorn since 2008. What is Capricorn about? It is about condensing what you've learned into a structure. It is creating a system. It is applying everything that you've learned. And what makes Capricorn useful for us, but not always useful in the community in which we're applying it, is that it doesn't always work for everyone. Doesn't satisfy everyone's needs often. There's always like some little thing that is like, it fits 80%, and then that 20% is like, ah. And so, for example, if you have a global team and you're trying to schedule a time for everyone to get on that call, I'll tell you, the people in Asia always get screwed because they either have to take it late at night or early in the morning. And, and it's just this terrible annoyance. And another example that I came up with is website design. Website design, as it has evolved, worked for many, many people, but there have been changes to it to accommodate more. So we have this structure, and there have been ways in which things have changed so that more people can get into the system, into the structure. And so if you think about that in your own life, either the way your family works, everyone likes to get up and have breakfast at a certain time, except for the one person who wants to sleep in. And hopefully that's not the person cooking breakfast, and all these kinds of things. But we do the best we can, right? We think, and it's effective. And you can think of this in your own lives of, I put together a system that works for as many people as possible. And then we'll see what we can do to make it better. So what happens when the system hits its limit? That's where Aquarius comes in. When you've taken something as far as it will go, then it pushes through into the next thing, which is fixing it. And Aquarius is all about seeing the flaws. And I've been working with families where there are children that have a lot of Aquarius energy. And the thing about Aquarius is you can see what's wrong, but someone who's inexperienced doesn't actually have great suggestions on what to do to make it better. And a more experienced person, a more knowledgeable person about the system or about what's possible or has been through that before can suggest improvements. And that is what Aquarius is all about. It's about changing what's going on so that you can include more people. You can make the system bigger and accommodate more. I thought about what are some things that are examples of this. Putting more a car versus a horse. People wanted to be able to go places. And instead of having more horses or pulling more horses or trying to get your horses to go faster, cars came around because people just wanted to go from A to B, right? So this is that kind of thinking that gets change to happen. And another example was we had mobile phones that used to be humongous, and they became computers in our pocket because someone thought beyond, it's beyond just making a phone call. It is being able to have access to so much more than that. And that's what we've ended up with. And there are still many more examples. And honestly, I think of Aquarius as the bridge to Pisces, because the Pisces energy is the ultimate getting everyone on the same page to share an experience. And there are many paths to get there. And that's what these Aquarius ideas do. And the people with these tools, especially, are committed to finding the way to get us all on the same page. And so that is what we're being asked to do, is to shed that structure that has worked for us for now. We created a system based on everything that we've known, and then we use it until it doesn't work anymore. And as we move into Aquarius, it is doing everything you can to try something new because it's not working, because you've been forced to in some way. And as one of my coaches loves to say, and I love the saying, is what got me here won't get me there. And so we have to level up. I hope that all makes sense. So, but what do you notice in this? There's a lot of I energy here. It's, I've done all this and I have to try something new. And these are community energies, both Capricorn and Aquarius. And so that movement from Capricorn into Aquarius works in a couple directions. It is taking your improvement ideas, like this is the opportunity to try to fix or break up what you're doing now to try to get to the next level, something that's going to work a little better, maybe a lot better, but it always takes a little time for these things to work themselves out. So it's applying your improvement ideas to systems that have reached their limits. That is certainly happening on a worldwide stage. But, and this is the hard part, it's also incorporating suggestions from others to your systems that have reached their limits. And of course, that Pluto energy of doing everything that you can to work with those suggestions is what's so hard, because we've had them in place for a reason. They're safe, they've worked, and sometimes it's hard to imagine what is beyond. And that is where your friends, your community, the people you trust come in to give you these options to choose from. And the great part is that Saturn, from the end of 2020, cleared the way. If you released a whole bunch of stuff between end of 2020 until now, there is now room for you to try something new and be open to what's possible. So the best part for this year is that for 2023, it's only from March 23rd until June 11th. So a little less than 3 months. And so it's March 23rd to May 1st, it goes forward. Then it goes backward until June 11th. And during that time, like it's an opportunity to challenge yourself, to step into the new you. And that's actually what I've done for myself, is I've given myself a little 2.5 month challenge to live into the future me, the me that I know I want to get to. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I'm just saying, okay, I'll give it a try. And then after June 11th, I can look at what worked. Like Pluto moves back into Capricorn, and that's an opportunity to fix some structures, maybe improve some other ones to get you to the next level, which begins again in 2024. So it's just a nice little doable test. I like to think of it as that. So if we take an example, what does this actually mean in real life? Here is a page out of the retrograde portal guide. And it's just there are 4 pages for each portal. There's a nice little story about it and some questions to help guide you through the year. But this is just the first page where your natal chart is there. And this is actually mine. Example 1 is me. And that portal is marked in red. That tiny little sliver is where all this change is going on. And the way it works is I look into that middle there, and there's a number, and the number is 10. And so I write that in this box. That's the part of my life that this is going on in. And when I turn to page 67 in the appendix of the retrograde portal guide, there's a definition that says the impact I have on the world. So this is the challenge. Where do I have to level up in the way I'm impacting the world? And so how can I challenge myself? This is it. For me, part of the way I impact the world is through the videos that I make. And I've been embarrassed with my assistant, Jenry, who has been waiting for me to film stuff that he could edit and put together. And I was like embarrassed day after day to tell him, I just haven't done it yet. I know I need to, but I haven't. And so I said, okay, I'm filming every day. And this is how I'm going to just live my life as the future me that just does it and doesn't care how it turns out. And then the decision is, what am I filming? Not, am I going to film today? And that is how I'm challenging myself and how I'm having to level up in the way I'm impacting the world. Let's look at another example. Here, this is the portal here. Right, I want to make sure I'm not covering it. And when you move to the center, that number, because it's between this line here and this line here, and that's a very fat hand, I'm realizing, but that number is 2. And so I write that here. And the definition, when you turn to page 67, is my resources, my tools, what's part of me. So what is a possible challenge? What tools and resources does the future me need to have or cultivate or be working on? And how can I try it for just 3 months? That may be the actual tangible things. It may be acquiring a skill. It might be acquiring if this person were a teacher, it would be coming up with maybe a new set of lesson plans or things like that. Not necessarily what to teach, how to teach, but like material, which that person would consider part of them. Here's another example. Here's the portal between this line here and this line here. So the number is 8. I put the 8 here, turn to page 67. It's the relationships where I trust or co-create. And so how might this show up in trusting relationships? How does the future me co-create with others differently in a not the usual way, or in the reverse direction in terms of the energy moving? How am I using it to allow others to trust me so they can shed their old structures? Do you understand how that works? It's like we give that energy within the relationship, and that allows that person, through whichever way I've been doing things, I can do it differently. I can see how the future me might have been working on something, and now just giving it a try to do that in relationships for 3 months. Example 4. Here is that Pluto portal, and this is marked when the person gets their portal guide. So there's nothing that needs to be done except to look for it. And you move to the center. The number is 9. You put the 9 in, you look it up, my trying new things or teaching others. And so for this person, how does the future me try something new from a different angle or perspective? Maybe the approach this person has taken has been to go to they have a system for trying new things. And possibly there's something that's been knocking on their door or a completely new thing that has been suggested. And they need to try that instead to keep going on their path. And to work things in the other direction, what knowledge do they have to share that might blow someone's mind as they teach? And that's another way to work with this energy just for 3 months. And then one last one. Here is that Pluto portal, and you'll see it's in this pie slice here. The number is 11. Oh, and I didn't write it. Oh my gosh. It's the groups I spend time with or share ideas with. That's so interesting. I'm not sure why that's there because I remember typing that. And so the question is, how can this person be in the future me to experience new groups that could blow that person's mind, right? Like open up their mind to totally different ideas that maybe they've been thinking about, but hadn't thought to actually go try it. Or maybe they thought, oh, that's a next year thing. Give it a try for 3 months. Or what groups would the future me, that they're already with. Let's see, am I thinking about this right? Spend time with and share my cool ideas. So sharing their ideas within the groups they're already in or in new groups as well. But the idea that by being in connection with others and having that exchange will support up leveling or taking their ideas to the next level and seeing what comes out of that. So I always offer tips to thrive. So if you're listening to the replay or this wasn't your example, you can look at your own natal chart and identify the area of your life where this portal is happening. And think about, where have you had structures in place for quite a while now? And you've done things the same way for a very long time, and things just need to get broken up. Maybe it just feels so stagnant. Like, I know I need to get somewhere, and this is not going to get me there, what I'm doing. Think about how for 3 months you could try something a little different. If you don't know how to do this on your own, you can consider getting a retrograde portal guide. There's going to be a link to it in the video. And not only that, this is a once in a lifetime effort. Pluto won't do this again for another 240 years. And so why not go for it? There are people who will never experience this. And so this is a wonderful opportunity. It's really uncomfortable, but that, as I've been talking about for weeks, is where your community comes. And if you want encouragement to say, yes, you can do this, you can go for this. For 3 months, you totally got this. Look for that support because it's there for you. And really, I always think of Pluto, especially because it's a year, as a great New Year's resolution. If you wrote some resolutions and it's been like a little bit of a struggle, think about how this actually is calling you and is something that you could try for 3 months and will really get you through the year so that you can be the new you in 2024 as we go back into Aquarius. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I feel like I got through it, which is great. Does anyone have any questions? So that makes sense. Yeah. All right.
What if all of my instincts right now are not to challenge myself? What if that's literally been the thought process that's gone through my mind? Is like, damn, I'm always like I'm always struggling here. Like, maybe I'm not meant to be.
And are there, I guess, if it's a question of, do I know what the challenge is versus am I willing to go for it? It's different, right? And if you know what it might be, what is a small bite that you could do that would be possible just to try for a couple months or even a week, just to get going and see where it takes you. And if you don't know what it might be, talk to your friends, your community, the ones who love you. They've got, I'm sure, great ideas on what's possible. Anyone else? It is 8:57. So I am so grateful for all of you being here. This is a little different. If this was useful, let me know. Might do another one for a different portal or something like that. And there's always more that you can do with this, understanding how it touches the deepest parts of you and what those parts might be specifically is always fascinating. So thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. And as always, email with any questions. I'm here to support you. Okay.
Thank you, Panda.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
I hope I've sparked your curiosity about how you can take yourself to the next level for just 3 months. By doing that, you may find the growth that you'll be embarking on this summer so that you can fully embody the new you in 2024. The Pluto portal that we discuss on the call is just a small portion of the compass method that I use to help people fully embody the person that they were born to be. If you're interested in learning more about the retrograde portal guide that I use to talk through the 5 examples on this call and see how Pluto and all of the planets are impacting your life this year, just check out my website at yourfullexpression.com or email me at panda@yourfullexpression.com. I'd love to show you how the universe is always coaching you to be your best self. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.